Assalamu alaikum. Hi, this is your linguistics instructor QI on the page INQ, Invisible Ink, Visible Impact. All right, so today we're going to do something really cool. We're going to decode the very core of every single word we speak. We are literally going to draw a map of your mouth to understand the science behind vowels. And trust me, by the end of this, you are going to see and feel your own speech in a completely new way. Let's dive in.
So think about this for a second. What's the real difference between the sounds in see and saw? I mean, yeah, it's a simple question, right? We can all hear that they're different. But what if I told you there's a super precise scientific way to describe exactly what your tongue and lips are physically doing to create that difference? It's not just some random sound. It's physics happening inside your head. And by the time we're done here, you'll be able to describe it just like a phonetician. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll figure out what actually makes a vowel a vowel. Then we'll get into the 3 dimensions we use to describe them. And finally, we'll see how these dimensions come together to create this amazing, universal map of every possible vowel sound using something called primary and secondary cardinal vowels. So, first things first. What in the world is a vowel anyway? You know, the fundamental difference between pretty much all speech sounds, it all comes down to one really simple thing: how we use our breath. It really is this simple. When you make a vowel sound, the air from your lungs just flows freely, right from your voice box out to your lips. Think about when you go to the doctor and they say ah. That is a pure open sound, a perfect vowel. Consonants, on the other hand, are all about getting in the way. They're about blocking, squeezing, or redirecting that airflow to make sounds like P, T, or S. Now, to shape that airflow, we use a set of tools inside our mouth called articulators. The big players are obviously the tongue and the lips, but we also use our teeth, the alveolar ridge, you can feel that, it's that little bump right behind your top front teeth, and the roof of your mouth, which is split into the hard palate in the front and the soft palate, or velum, way in the back.
Okay, so if all vowels are made with this open, free-flowing air, how in the world do we tell them apart? How do we get so many different sounds? Well, it turns out we can describe and classify any vowel in any language using just 3 key features. These are the building blocks of sound.
First up is tongue height. And this is pretty much what it sounds like. It's how high or low your tongue is inside your mouth. When your tongue is way up high, really close to the roof of your mouth, we call that a closed vowel. And when it's low, creating a ton of space, we call that an open vowel. But don't just take my word for it. Let's actually feel this. I want you to say the vowel in the word see. Go on. E. Feel how high your tongue is, almost touching the top? Okay, now say the vowel in cat. Ah. Did you feel your whole jaw just drop down to make room? That big movement, that's you changing the tongue height from close to open. So that was the up and down. The second dimension is the front to back. We call this tongue position. And the key here is that it's not about your whole tongue moving, it's about which part of your tongue is doing the work, the front, the middle, or the back. This gives us front, central, and back vowels. Let's try another one. Go back to that E sound from C. You can really feel the front part of your tongue getting tight and high, right? Now, try to keep it just as high, but say the vowel in 2. Ooh. Feel that? The tension, the highest point, it just shifted all the way to the back of your tongue. You literally just went from a front vowel to a back vowel. And our final dimension is the easiest one of all because you can actually see it in a mirror, lip rounding. Your lips can either be spread wide, kind of like you're smiling, we call that unrounded, or you can pucker them up and make a circle, and that's rounded. It's that simple. That E sound we made has spread lips, while that OO sound has rounded ones. Okay, so we've got our 3 dimensions: height, up and down, position, front and back, and lip rounding. So how do we put it all together? Well, phoneticians, the scientists who study speech sounds, they needed a standardized way to do this, a universal system that would work for every single language. And this quote really gets to the heart of why this whole system was created. It's not just about English or any one language. It's a universal tool. The whole goal was to create a set of fixed reference points, kind of like the latitude and longitude lines on a map, that any linguist anywhere in the world could use to accurately describe and compare vowels. And that brings us to this beautiful thing, the vowel quadrilateral. The best way to think about it is as a literal map of the possible vowel space inside your mouth. The vertical axis represents tongue height, going from close at the top to open at the bottom. The horizontal axis is tongue position, from front on the left to back on the right. Every pure vowel sound has a specific coordinate on this map.
So now it's time to start populating our map. And we begin with the 8 most important landmarks on this map. These are known as the primary cardinal vowels, and they are the foundation for the entire system.
Here they are, our 8 key landmarks. Each one is just a combination of our 3 dimensions. So take a look at number 1, the symbol I. Its coordinates are close, front, and unrounded. Now jump down to number 8, U. Its coordinates are close and back, but notice the lip position is rounded. As you scan down this list, you'll see a really cool pattern. The front vowels are all unrounded, but most of the back vowels are rounded. This is actually a super common tendency across the world's languages.
Now, the 4 vowels at the corners of our map, these are special. They are the absolute extremes. These are defined as the most extreme sounds you can possibly make before your airflow gets blocked and the sound turns into a consonant. So E is as high in front as you can go, I is as low in front, A is low in back, and U is as high in back as you can get. These are the absolute boundaries of human vowel production.
But wait a minute, you might be wondering, what about the other combinations? Like, what about a high front vowel that is rounded? Well, that's where the secondary cardinal vowels come in. And the logic here is just so cool and elegant. The best way to think of it is as a mirror image of the primary set. Here are the 8 secondary vowels. Let's just look at the descriptions. Number 9, which has the symbol U, has the exact same tongue position as our very first primary vowel. It's close and front, but look, now it's rounded. And check out number 16, U. It's a close back vowel, just like U, but this one is unrounded. You see the pattern, right? Secondary vowels just take the tongue positions from the primary set and flip the lip rounding.
This slide just sums it all up perfectly. To get from that primary vowel E to its secondary counterpart U, you keep your tongue in the exact same high front spot and you just round your lips. That's it. That's the whole system. It's a beautifully simple way to account for all the possibilities. And these aren't just theoretical sounds. Languages like French and German use these front-rounded vowels all the time.
So there you have it. We've built this universal map of the mouth, a grid for every possible pure vowel sound. The biggest takeaway here is that the vowels of any language on Earth, English, Urdu, Arabic, you name it, they're all just specific points plotted on this very chart. So that leaves us with one final big question. Where do the vowels that you use every single day fall on this map?
And that's all for this explainer. The next time you're talking, just try to pay attention to those tiny, subtle movements of your tongue and lips. You now have the tools to not just hear the difference in your vowels, but to actually map them out like a phonetician. Thanks for watching. See you next time on INQ.